Now, the rest of the story.
All right, welcome back. I have a viewer that had taken notice of the fact that I'm actually looking into doing an acid applicator or purchasing an acid applicator for our round baler. I'm about 99% certain I'm going to do it. It's just actually going through and ordering it. So what he offered was, he knew that I needed a moisture tester because I need to know what this stuff is testing moisture-wise before I even make it. Growing up, it was always go out in the field after it's been cut for 2 or 3 days and go out, flip it over, check it. Seems dry enough, let's go ahead and make it, and that's exactly what we did. Well, he said he had two, yes, two, I'm not going to go into details as to why he had two, Delmhorst hay testers, hay moisture testers, and he offered to send them to me. So, kind sir in New York, thank you very much. These are going to be put to very good use. First things first, people are going to ask, what am I going to do with two of them? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to use one of them as a portable hay checker, hay tester. I do have the tester for checking the hay in the windrow. I also am going to buy a probe so I can check the hay as it's in the round bales after I've made it, because I am planning on applying acid after we've tried to go through, or after we do go through and cut it, ted it, rake it. I mean, try to let it go as long as we can. I'm not going to change anything as far as how we're making hay right now. It's just that this is going to be an added process that we're going to do to try to keep making, continue to make, or at least get made quality hay. So what I'm going to be doing is checking the moisture level in the hay to make certain that it is at least under 30%. 30%, from what I understand, is the higher end level that you can apply acid and it will still, for the most part, work. Ideally, down to 15% is where you really want to be. Hay is still going to steam out no matter what you do to it. So ideally, if the weather is halfway cooperable, you can go through, make the hay, apply the liquid, as long as your moisture is within your tolerances, and then stack the hay outside. The reason I'd have to do that is because we don't have any sheds where we can stack them inside where they have roof vents. The reason that's so important is that when you stack hay that is freshly made inside, it's still going to steam out, and it needs a place for that moisture to escape. Otherwise, it just gets up in the roof, then it condenses in the roof, and then it falls back down on your hay. Not a very good process that you really want to start happening, especially if you're trying to make good quality hay for your cows. Secondly, and the part that I'm really looking forward to, because I have two, and these are easy to interchange and everything else like that. It's not like they're secured forever in your tractor or whatever, but you can actually use this as a continuous hay tester. There's a sensor that you mount in the baler pickup right behind the pickup, and see the hay is coming from the left to right, and it goes over these two pieces of metal here, and then it checks the current through it, so you know it knows what moisture your hay is at, just as long as it's under the right calibration. I have not gone and looked through the manuals on these yet. I'm planning on doing that tonight. That's kind of irrelevant at this point for the moment, because even though I brought this stuff up here because I just found it this morning, Brittany moved the box on me. It came yesterday. The way the weather's going and the way things are looking, the chance of us making decent dry hay at this point is looking like the window's getting shut. I mean, if it hasn't yet, it's looking like it's a real possibility it's going to. It's just going to push us out so far with the rain that when the weather does straighten out, we have to be harvesting. It's getting to the point where I'd rather focus on harvesting row crops than worrying about making hay. So what's looking like a real possibility is, because if it does get cold, it does freeze off. I'm just, for argument's sake, I'm just going to say November, where the ground is frozen up, it's killed the grass off, the grass is freeze dried. We can go through, cut it, rake it, bale it, much like OLF has done in this past winter. and then with the intentions of that'll be the last stuff that gets stacked, but it'll also be the first stuff that we take out to our cows. So we don't have to worry about those hay bales rotting when it gets warmer, because that's the big concern, is making sure that they're fed up before you get into spring. And we're probably looking at 150, 200 bales if we could make everything. Even at that point, I think that's gone. But what I'm going to be doing is, he did send, and I know you can actually go buy all this stuff online. I already looked into that. He did send me the sensor going back to the baler, so I can run this back to the 76. And I'm actually going to mount this, because he even sent the neat little mount for the back of this, so I can actually mount it in the tractor. It's either going to go right next to the monitor, or up on the front end by my camera, my display, or I'm going to put it off to the right of the driver's seat, so I can just look over and see what the moisture is doing. I've never done this before as far as watching moisture making hay. Hasn't really turned out too bad in the past. The only thing I got to do is I got to find 12 volts to run continuous power to this, because how this works is there's a plug-in. Don't you fall over on me. Plug-in right there, so that will be your continuous keyed power. And then this bad boy goes in the top right there, and the other end connects to these 2 points right here. In theory, I gotta go through and read the manual and make sure I'm doing it properly. The big thing I notice is that I gotta make sure that it's calibrated, because it says that if you're using just the 9 volt, which is what it takes, if you actually use a low battery in these, it'll throw off your calibration too. So, and the fact that he said these sat since 16, 17, I think calibrating them just makes sense at this point. So I'm looking forward to it. I am planning on putting an acid applicator on the round baler and basically just wait until after harvest. Same thing with these. I brought them up to put them in. I don't think there's much point in even doing it this fall anymore, because I really don't want to. I know I'm going to be making corn fodder yet. I don't know if I'll be making hay, dry hay at this point, and at this point I'll probably just roll the dice. But I don't want this to be in the pickup, running around getting beat up on by the corn fodder, if I'm not going to be using it until next year anyway. So it's better off just going in my office and staying where it's safe, and I'll attach this plus probably that acid applicator next year. I actually have some wiring on that round baler that I'm looking at redoing. For those of you that tuned into the Halo View camera video where I mounted that, I was actually pulling power from the 7-pin on the tractor. It looks to me like I can do something similar to that on the round baler, and I think I'm going to do it, just because those wireless camera systems, and I'm not trying to take away from the moisture video, moisture tester video, but thank you, sir. That's really kind of you. You didn't have to do that, and I say you did. I got some of the best viewers out there. The reason I like the wireless cameras, especially in the application with the 76 and the multiple implements that I can put cameras on, when they're wireless, as long as I can supply 12 volt to the camera, there is no other hooking up other than hooking up the implement like you normally would. So I always connect the 7-pin connectors on the Easy Trail, the round baler, the disc bind. As long as you already have that connector, it's already got 12 volt to it regardless. So if you're always connecting that anyway, your camera, boom, has power just like that. And I'm kind of thinking about going that route and eliminating those 2 12 volt wires, or those 2 ground and 12 volt wires coming out of the cab, because the 76 is getting awfully busy with all the stuff I got connected into it. Between the monitor display, which is going right to the battery for the round baler, the display for my cameras, the moisture, hay moisture tester, and then I know I'm going to need 12 volt for the acid applicator. So I'm actually kind of slightly worried that I'm not going to have enough power from my alternator to keep my tractor from putting out. Putting on the LED lights in the 76 probably helped to a certain degree, but I don't know. I guess there's not much point in stress myself out about it until I actually try it. So yeah, things are constantly evolving around here on Kister Farms. We're constantly looking to improve ourselves, and going through and doing the acid plus moisture tester. I think this is going to be really nice. Trying to make better quality hay, because if I can make decent quality hay and sell it next spring, anything we're not using, that right there alone is a good reason to try to make quality hay. Because trying to make quality hay and wrapping it in a tube and letting it ferment when you baled it at 50% or 40% or 30%, it doesn't sell that great. The dry hay selling is where the money's at. So I don't want to make a bunch of crud if I can avoid it. So, all right, cold's getting to me. Not the cold. I got a sinus cold or something going on. So you guys are watching the rest of the story. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. Stay warm. Stay dry. They were calling for 38 degrees tomorrow night. I heard they bumped it up to 40 now. But as far as the weather goes, it's constantly changing too. So somebody, he's just as much a character around here as Dad, Ryan, Rocket, my buddy, Calvin. He's giving me the side eye right now because he knows I'm about to say that dreaded B word. Bath. And he's getting drugged down, he's getting hosed off. So that's my next and last battle for the night. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't liked the video, please do so. If you got any comments or questions, I do not do the best job of responding to every single comment, but I do read all of the comments. So if there is something that you want me to know or a question that you'd like me to know, I do read the comments. I do try to address them in future videos. So I try to make that up there. So I gotta go.